Back again with another movie review. My name is Josh. Thanks for checking out the channel. If you click the thumbnail, you're probably here to check out some Hell House.
The Carmichael Manor is home to a grisly murder that occurred right upstairs from where I stand. Half the family murdered, while the other half is still missing.
So Hell House LLC Origins, The Carmichael Manor is the new movie that came out just within the last couple weeks, I think, on Shudder as we got close to the Halloween season, and I finally been able to check it out. If you're not familiar, there is a Hell House series that came out. There's Hell House 1, 2, and 3, all created by the same writer and director, Stephen Cognetti. Sorry if I'm saying his name wrong. But that's a series that, in all, I actually really enjoyed. That's one that I think I discovered Hell House LLC, the original one, right at the beginning of the pandemic, so like maybe 2019, 2020, in that range, and I absolutely loved it. I'm also unashamedly a fan of found footage movies, and sometimes maybe not the best of movies. Not to say that these are not good by any means. For the first three of them, the first one I absolutely loved, and I probably actually will just go back and do some reviews for all of them because I did really enjoy them, and the more that they've gone on, the more I appreciate them, because I've also watched a lot of other found footage movies about similar subject matter, and they're nowhere near as good. So just in brief though, the first one I thought was really awesome. The second one, we'll get into more depth during the review for that one, but it was, let's just say, not my favorite. I don't know exactly what happened with that one. Maybe it was more of a funding thing about why things happened the way they did or why it was shot the way it was. But then the third one, you got back to the Abaddon Hotel, and that one was getting back on par with the first one for me, and I thought it was a good conclusion to the series, yet lo and behold, we have a whole new one that comes up here, and this is a very interesting one. So if you have seen the other three, you know that that one kind of came to a conclusion ish. I'm not going to give anything away because you probably should go check those out, but there's still a lot to be explored. And with this one having origins in the title, I definitely thought this was going to be like a prequel to Before Hell House and more explanation about that, and to my delight and surprise, it actually is not. So this is a sequel to those movies, but it's an origin story in a slightly different manner that I'm not going to give away too much, but it all kind of comes together in the end. So the writing, I thought, was actually one of the strong parts in this one. The storytelling and how everything was kind of brought together, but also doesn't completely and utterly rely on the other movies. Like, you could just watch this one and be scared. My actual girlfriend was watching this one with me, and she's been in the room for some of the other ones, but wasn't necessarily paying attention to the Hell House movies. So she didn't exactly know what was going on and ended up really liking this one. The basic premise for our movie really revolves around the three main actors: Bridget Ross Perota, Destiny Leilani Brown, and James Lytle. Those three basically are the movie. Much like with any kind of found footage or smaller movie, the acting or the actors that you get put in this are super important, because if they're not believable, or if the script's bad and it just doesn't seem like real things that people would do, it automatically takes you out of it and makes you not really want to watch it because you don't really believe what's happening and there's no stakes. This one was much different, where it starts where a lot of found footage ones do start, where there's kind of laying out the premise of what's going to be viewed in the footage that was found. And sometimes that works okay. Sometimes, to me, it gives away a little too much because it kind of tells you, oh, well, this was found and these people were never heard from again. So there's a little mystery that gets kind of taken out of it sometimes. And it's not my preferred thing necessarily, but I do understand that the whole setup of the movie is important for folks that don't necessarily know what's going on. So you have those three actors, you have a brother, sister, and then the girlfriend to the lead actress here, who has a website that does cold case investigation files and goes and actually kind of lives at the place where she's investigating, and then vlogs about it, writes about it, tries to figure it out. So in a lot of ways, it's very reminiscent to like Sinister, if you've seen that one. That was a really good, creepy movie where there was a novelist that goes and tries to do the same thing and figure out what happened in some cold case files, or overturn some things that were like mysteries and stuff like that. And that one has some wackiness that ensues, much like this one, but different story for sure. But it's very cool.
What's going on? It sounded like someone was singing downstairs.
There's a little bit of drama and conflict between the different characters, but none of them are overwhelmingly like, I just really hate this person, I can't believe they're here, you know, this is a bad actor, this is taking me out of the movie. I never got that with this movie. You had a couple of the side characters that came in, and you know, they were there for some explanation about the backstory, and some of that was a little too on point. Like, it was very dramatic in how it was being told, but also I guess the content matter is pretty heavy, so I guess that's somewhat understandable. But I'm not going to spoil too much about this one, other than the fact that I do think you should check it out if you're a fan of the series at all, or if you like found footage movies or, you know, haunted house kind of movies. And the mystery and how this links together to the other movies, I think, is pretty solid. I think it may be set up for maybe some more movies moving forward, hopefully. And they did a really smart thing here. The creator of this one, of really taking some iconic, very memorable characters slash objects from the other movies and reinvigorating them and putting them back in this one and making them a very integral part of the story, which is smart because that's how you're going to start, like, you know, a horror icon kind of thing. So I'm all on board for this one. This has been one of my actually more favorite movies of the year. As far as horror movies go, it's definitely in the top 3 or 4, but I would say on a ranking out of 10, I'm giving this one a solid 7.5. It was really fun to watch. It was creepy in certain parts. There were some legitimate, not necessarily like jump out scares for me, but you had something that were kind of lingering. Like you'd actually turn and see something that people could get jump out scared, but then you look at it, and the more you look at it, the more you get weirded out, and you're just like, oh, that's just freaking creepy.
Hello? Who is that?
And honestly, the people in it, they react like normal people would for the most part. There's a couple situations where you're like, no, don't do that. But I will say, I think the brother may have been my favorite just because he seemed doing a lot of the same things that I would have done in very similar situations for the most part. So I would highly recommend checking this one out and hopefully get some more movies like this, because I think that the series overall has been a big win for people that like horror movies and found footage movies and smaller budgets. So please go check those out. And I think I'm going to get to reviewing the other ones and get caught up on those for you guys. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Go to hit that subscribe button if you would. That'd be fantastic. And as always, you're awesome. Peace out.